In this episode, we take a look at the ego and the roles we play. Are you ever the good girl, golden child, black sheep, chameleon? We take a look at why we play these roles, the importance of understanding what's going on beneath the surface, and some tips and tricks on how to navigate it.
Let's talk about what intuition really is.
Let's look at all the places intuition and ego show up in your life.
Let's share honestly.
Let's do the research.
I'm Jamie Hayhurst.
I'm Heather Wood.
This is the Intuitive Girls Guide.
This episode will play uninterrupted after a brief message from our sponsors.
You know what goes great with podcast listening?
A great cup of coffee from a great coffee shop.
Yep, beans roasted in-house, amazing baristas. You know where I'm talking about.
Restoration Coffee. Can we go?
Yes, I need an Americano and maybe a panini too.
Ooh, I need blueberry maple latte and probably a resto bowl.
Ooh, yeah, check them out and visit restoration-coffee.com. AJ,
Hey!
we're back.
Yeah.
We took a little break.
Well, I was sick. What can you say?
This is not the kind of job that you can muscle through being sick and doing.
Not the way I had zero voice. I could not talk.
But even there'll be episodes where all of a sudden I'll hear my voice snuff up a little and you cannot. Can you imagine having to listen to us?
No,
slobbery
around boogers and stuff.
Oh,
no,
no.
thanks.
So
No, so we did you a favor, right?
Well, you're welcome that we were away for 2 weeks. Yeah,
right.
But we're back.
Yes.
And I was gonna say happy spring, but here in New England, it's garbage weather today.
Well, it's raining. That's what happens.
It is cold. It's very
chilly.
New England spring.
Yes.
But I thought we would talk today about the roles we play and how the ego really works in creating these roles that we feel like we have to step into and deal with.
Okay.
And it may be related to things I'm going through in my life.
Oh, probably.
I
everything.
think it's something that you and I talk about a lot.
Right.
I think it's a very interesting part of intuition and ego.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that it's talked about enough because it isn't oh, you're playing this role in a bad way or you're being inauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
It's really multi-layered because parts are, but parts aren't. And
right.
Some of this is helping you and some of it isn't.
Correct.
So I thought it would be an interesting topic.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So let me first start by saying what I mean by the roles we play. You can look up so many brilliant people's works on this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just have to listen to us. And you should listen to us, but this is not something we've come up with, is my point.
Yeah.
So you could look up Carl Jung, or you could read the book The Artist's Way if you're looking for more resources on understanding someone really unpacking the way your brain is operating.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of neuroscience of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Go look for other sources. There's really incredible stuff. I sidestepped that for this episode because there's a lot more interesting elements that I think would be better for us to talk about. But I want you to know it exists, and this is a science-backed, psychology-based
idea.
Okay. Right. So these roles are these things that we sort of label, and we go I'm going to be this in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to name some examples of roles that are very common. I did not come up with these or name them. However, I have played every single one.
Yeah, I bet we all have.
And so has everyone listening.
Right.
So I thought we'd sort of look at that and then help you sort of understand what we mean by the roles.
Okay.
Right. So the first one is Jamie has an Academy Award in this.
What?
It's called Good Girl.
Oh, yeah. I am.
An Oscar maybe as well.
Yep. It's
maybe
true.
A Tony.
It's true. It's a great performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do this too. Everybody does.
Yeah.
The good girl.
Yeah.
But the good girl is, every woman is taught to play this. And it is, I think, you get the biggest influence to play this to be safe as a woman.
Absolutely.
So this becomes a real complicated thing. So I want you to just think about the times where you play the good girl? Like, what are you doing? What does that look like? What is the story that you have as to why being the quote unquote good girl will keep you safe? And I think something that's interesting about like just you and I in particular is that we have different reasons for playing the good girl.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, not everyone's like, oh, I'm going to play the good girl for this, this, and this.
Correct.
And I think, if I can pick on you slightly,
Yeah.
your good girl at the surface, I think people would misunderstand.
Oh, how so?
Well, because you play the good girl in these roles of like there's authority around, there's a sort of a plan in place, and you sort of play the good girl as your way to get in and learn about everybody. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It's sort of like your position to stand and to get...
You're like flying under the radar.
Yeah, and to get the feel of everyone, to get the lay of the land. The good girl does that for you. And you're not necessarily being invisible as the good girl.
No.
But you are gaining your footing.
Yep.
And then allowing people to see beyond the good girl.
Sometimes.
If they earn their
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, that's a great way to say it.
But on the surface, people just might see you as like a very compliant individual.
They might.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think I know you pretty well. I'm going to say that you are not that.
No.
You can be. I mean, but you aren't. That's not your default.
Yeah. No. I think that that's where like I have a lot of issues lately. Currently, is like as I let go of the good girl.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I know people are going to be upset by who the real me is. So like I keep thinking about how like if someone follows me on Instagram, and I'm always like, oh. You're not going to like that. Like, you're not going to like that version of me because, like, you haven't heard me. You haven't seen that version of me in whatever our, like, real life interactions are. And it's probably actually so different that you're going to be a little jarred by the juxtaposition between those two versions of me. And they're both real versions of me. I'm not lying or manipulating in either of them.
Authentic.
Yeah, they're both me.
Yeah.
But I think it's sort of it's like almost like I empathize with the person, but like, oh, this is going to be weird.
Yeah, and I do think that that's true, but I also think that in your mind it's worse than it is
yes,
for
probably.
other people.
Yes, I'm sure.
I don't think most people walk around being like, oh, that person, let's just say in their like professional space, not like outside of the podcast. I don't think any podcast.
No, they're not. Right.
But like out in, your more muggle element of your life.
Yes.
I don't think people meet someone who's like, part of the team and working really hard and doing what they're being asked really well and like very capable. I don't think they necessarily go, well, they must not have a backbone. But I think your story is that.
Yes.
Right? And do I think that they might be like, whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Right.
Because that's not the appropriate place to do that.
Correct.
But I actually think it's more authentic to be who, like in this role, this is what's called for me to do my best work. And over here, this is what it
exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you're showing up authentically in those two spaces. But that's what we do with these roles. We create stories that there's like a real level of danger to not playing the role.
Right.
So much so that like your deep empathy is perceiving the danger for
other people. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
Yeah. So tiring, but.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's not about not ever playing the good girl.
No.
You know what I mean? It's about understanding and like choosing the role and knowing like you're not stuck in it and you don't have to do it for people to like you and it's not your only work, right? It's like it's the layers beneath it, but it wouldn't make sense for you to walk into your muggle job.
Correct.
And start screaming about Nazis. Like that wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
But would it make sense for you to scream about Nazis on Instagram?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, do you know what I'm
Yeah, I do. And I think that like, I think that that's the part about it being like, it is a part of you. Like there is a part of you that knows like when and where to use things and like when and where like the good girl or the whoever is appropriate. It's just the trick is what hopefully our listeners will glean from this episode is like to not let those become defaults. Like for so much of my life, I just defaulted
Yes.
to the good girl because it was safe. And it was like, this is the version of me that everybody likes. So I just did that forever. But then I was like, well, I don't really like this part of myself.
Yes.
I like her, but like it didn't feel like exactly, it doesn't feel like who I really am. It doesn't feel like the full version of myself. It felt like only little like bits and pieces of me were being seen.
There's
so
like
like
an element of self-abandonment
agreed,
to it.
yes.
You don't understand it.
Right. So like just like that was my problem, was that I would just default to the good girl. And like now that is a part of who I am, and I love that part of her, but like I don't just click into that immediately, especially if it doesn't serve me.
Yes, that's very, very true. That's the trick to all of this.
Right.
Like, spoiler alert, not a spoiler. I want you to take this with you through the whole episode.
Right.
But the whole thing is you have to play roles. It's like,
of course.
You and I talk all the time about like the feeling like you're kind of performing for people, and it's like you have to. If someone's like, stop performing for everyone, that doesn't make any sense, really.
Right. No, you can't go through life just like being self-serving and doing what you want, when you want, how you want. I mean, that's not how like.
If you were doing that, you'd still have to perform.
Right. I mean,
to get what you want.
Yeah, that's not how like community works. That's not how relationships work.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
it's that like real polarizing element to these kinds of stuff that people are like, well, if you're going to be intuitive, you're going to just be yourself at every pass and never. And it's sort of like, but myself is a good girl. And myself is a rebellious person.
Right.
It's also a bad girl. Like, I am all of those things. So I think the authenticity comes in showing up in the roles as a choice.
Correct.
Like actively saying, this is a role I'm comfortable playing right now and here. And this is a role I'm not comfortable playing right now.
Correct.
Like, to be able to do that, I think, is the real freedom and power in all of this.
Absolutely.
And we won't harp on all of these, but the good girl is like the biggest one.
Well, especially for women. I mean, certainly. I mean, men too have their own versions of that, but like, yes, that
the soldier. I think they refer to that as
yeah.
So.
Well, wait, how does yours show up?
I was going to say my good girl and your good girl do different things.
Right.
Because your good girl is like the best supporting character in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Really. It's like what you show up and you're like, what's your mission? Got it. I'm here. I'm going to go 90 miles an hour at it, but I'll try to kind of be behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But my good girl is like a performer of like, great, you need me to be on. You need me to talk. Oh, you need someone to step to the front. Oh, you need someone to get an A in this class. Oh, you need someone to nod their head the entire time you talk. Like my good girl is like, oh, you need me to step into
the
that
front.
spotlight?
Right. Yep.
You got it.
Yep.
You got it. I'll step right in and I'll do it.
That's not my good girl.
What is it that you need? I'll do that performatively for you.
Right.
And that is.
Whereas you probably as a child would rather be like observing and watching and formulating. Right.
I actually look at your good girl and I'm like, she's smart, because your good girl gets space to make like all these decisions about the people and observe all these dynamics. And you know, my good girl does that, but she's got this like giant job in front of it first.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really interesting in that our good girls, if you saw them in the space together, you wouldn't necessarily realize how vastly different they were unless you looked behind the surface at the stories we're telling ourselves.
Right. Exactly.
You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Right.
I actually like to observe. I don't mind the spotlight. Like the spotlight's great because it's a way to take all the things that I feel incredibly passionate about and share them. And it's a way to connect to people. And I love that part of it. But especially if I'm new to an arena, it could be 5 people. It could be 100 people. It could be anything. I don't necessarily want to be in the spotlight then.
Right.
I would like to be in the back row.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's really interesting. So it's about, first of all, defining what your good girl looks like. And second of all, looking at maybe why you chose that. I mean, looking at our lives, I can easily see why we both chose those roles to be safe, you know? And also going like, I give myself permission to step into that, but I also give myself permission to not choose that.
Right.
Or when I'm doing it, it doesn't feel good to be like, boundary, no thanks.
Exactly.
Whereas the roles that you play to be like quote unquote likable
Mm-hmm.
are the hardest ones to put boundaries around doing, because
Yes.
that's where you think your worth is.
Right, exactly. And that's where you have to do so much work externally, right? Because it's
Yeah.
what makes people like you. So it deals with like interpersonal stuff.
Yeah.
So to put a boundary on that is pretty disruptive.
Yeah. I don't care what anyone says when they're like, I don't care if people like me. If you are a human, you do. Like, you're wired to.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
not necessarily about like, oh, I need to change who I am so everyone likes me.
Right.
But it's a survival skill.
Of course.
You need that and you
Right.
want that. So maybe you care less about it.
Right.
Good for you.
Or you've prioritized something else over that.
Yes.
Wonderful. Great.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
but it's not that you don't care that someone's upset with you or doesn't like you.
No. But
Right.
you might want to look like you don't care. That might be
Right.
a role you're playing of like, I
Right.
don't care if people like me or not.
Right.
That's a different role.
That is.
Okay. Another one of the big roles is the planner.
Mm.
I'm quite familiar with her.
Yes.
So are you.
I am.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm a planner, but just I've had to work against my own like ADHD, executive functioning stuff my whole life. So it's come harder to me than to you.
yeah, you almost have to, well, I'm not sure if almost, maybe this isn't the word you'd use, but
Mhm.
you kind of have to mask your way through
Yes.
being a planner. And it's not that you're not a naturally good planner. It's that the way the world wants you to plan is not the way
The way I want to.
it works
Yeah, no.
ideally for you.
Yeah, no, I mean that planning, I've actually been thinking a lot about this.
Oh, share with the class.
I've just been thinking a lot about like the way someone said I was so organized, and I was like, yeah, that's actually like a violent fear of being seen as like
yeah.
unprepared or a failure or
Yeah.
like being observed while making a mistake is like
Yes.
the worst. So it's
Yeah.
like, yes, I am organized, but it doesn't always come from a great place.
Or it doesn't come from the place that like other people would look at it and go, that looks organized.
Correct. Right.
But it is in your
Yeah,
mind.
right.
Everything is you know,
Right.
accounted for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very, very interesting. I
Mhm.
think that I'm a planner in the very sort of typical sense
Mhm.
where I love a spreadsheet.
Right.
I overthink everything. And so, a lot of people are like, wow, that's so impressive. And I'm like, oh, that's anxiety.
Right. Exactly.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Exactly.
so
Yep.
in that sort of sense too. But I think the planner part of me, we're gonna get to this part, I think too, but like she's real valuable,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't care what arena you put me into,
Mhm.
whether I know what I'm doing or not. The part of my brain that can organize information and keep track of things
Mhm.
is needed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's sort of like a lot of times I find myself leading with the planner. Like you
Mhm.
might not see the other roles. You might not
Mhm.
get to know me very well.
Right.
But look, I'll show you how good I am at organizing
That's true.
information.
You
Like,
do that.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really interesting. So a lot of
Right.
times people meet me and they just see this real like type A
Yes.
organized person.
Yes.
And then they're surprised to be like, wait, your career is in intuition?
Yes. That's a good point.
You know what I
Yes,
mean? And
right.
like that's just one of the roles that I know I'm instantly going to be able to contribute to this area
Right.
because I know you need me to do that.
Right.
Yeah. I just think that's true everywhere. And I think for you, it's like I can do that and I'm going to do that because I do it well. And you are
Mhm.
just like a reliable, capable human. But then you have to add in the fact that you're like, I have to kind of perform this in the way
Mhm.
everyone's expecting it.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily how my brain's wired.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to note that, especially again for women, that like that planner part is basically all the unpaid labor of women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we are socialized and trained in our culture to be planners, like
Yeah.
to carry like households and,
Yeah.
you know.
Someone the other day, we were having a conversation and my husband was there as well. And they were like impressed that my husband knew my kids' birthday.
That's outrageous.
And then they were impressed that my husband was the one that called to make a dentist appointment. And I just think about the bar of that. Like as a mother, if
That it's
those
in
things
hell.
were hard for me or I didn't know those things, my children would be like taken from me.
Exactly. And people would shame you for not knowing your kids' birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah, it's wild.
and I'm not saying I'm not grateful that he knows those
No,
things.
yeah, but
and
he
does
should,
those
right.
things, but like, what? That's impressive.
Right. Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, sorry, Matt, but
There's a lot of things about it
they're impressive. Exactly. That's not one of them.
Right.
He's just a decent, good dad,
Mm.
you know?
I mean, people see a man who can organize anything.
Right.
I'm not putting him in that category because, again, he's great, but I would not put him in the category of being able to organize things well. And they see, oh, you organized that information.
Right.
You showed up for a meeting
Right.
on time.
Wow. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for a woman, they're like,
It's just
well,
expected.
you didn't juggle all of that perfectly in an
Right.
impossible situation. Like, get it together.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is the watchdog.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this role is one of my favorite to watch in women because it's not often associated. It's more associated with men, with being like you can also think guard dog or like just like the person who defends everybody.
Yeah.
But most women I know are that.
Absolutely.
But again, we're not portrayed like
No,
I can't. I was trying to think of like a movie where there was like a very popular character that was played by a woman who was a watchdog, and I really struggled to find one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are, but they're in these like I think of like Elle Woods, like in this sort of like sneaky way.
Yes.
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
So I think that's interesting. I think the older I get, the more this role comes out of me.
Yep.
I think becoming a mother made it strong, but I think I was sort of somehow was born with the idea that was one of the things I was supposed to do. You know, do you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's a nature versus nurture
for
sure. But when you meet a woman who won't let you say something bad about someone that she cares about while she's in the room, I instantly know that's my kind of person.
Absolutely.
Because most people are not like that.
No.
Like, if you say something about Jamie in front of me that I don't think is in a flattering light, you're going to know real quick that that is not allowed in front of me.
Absolutely.
And the amount of times that someone will tell me a story like, oh, so-and-so was telling me this unflattering thing about you. And I just think,
well, why did they say that?
Well, what did you say?
Right.
What did you do when you heard that?
Exactly. What was your reply?
Yeah.
Yep.
But look at like, when do you play that role? Where does it come out? Where are you like ashamed of that role? Like, thinking about these things is helpful. The caretaker.
Right.
I don't know a woman who isn't burdened by that role, and not because we're not caretaking and nurturers.
Yeah.
But because society has said that is your entire value.
Right.
And like we were saying before, it's just expected.
Yeah, and that should be your number one priority.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The role of mother, which I would like to clarify, does not mean that you have birthed children. Just being a mothering person.
Maternal, right. Yeah.
That maternal role. I am always surprised when people label me that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's not that I don't think I'm motherly. I mean, I am a mother, you know.
Correct.
But I just don't see myself that way and imagine that other people are seeing that part of me. Perhaps I find her to be like a little vulnerable. Right? But people would be like, oh yeah, like most of the time when I tell people my sun sign is a Taurus, they'll be like, oh yeah, the earthy, motherly, and I'm like, oh, you see motherly.
Interesting.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, people have been calling me like motherly since I was in like junior high. Absolutely.
What do you think that is?
I just think because I think it's part of that like watchdog energy that I have around like my friends and stuff, that it comes out as like me being protective.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
And you know, when I think about it, like I would, if I saw you leaving the house and you didn't have a jacket, I'd be like, oh, did you need a jacket?
Yeah.
Like, and so I can see it.
Yeah.
But like it always catches me like, oh, you're seeing that?
Right.
Oh, I thought she was in the back a few more
steps.
steps.
No. Right.
The golden child.
Wait, we need to back this up. You actually.
Oh, sorry.
this is the problem that you have with your cancer rising.
Oh yeah.
It's that maternal.
Yeah.
Cancers are maternal and
Yeah.
mothering and nurturing.
Yeah.
And you've always have such a hard time as identifying as that.
Yeah, you're right. It's
You don't
interesting.
see it in yourself.
No, I don't.
Right.
Mm.
No, it's there.
I believe everyone. I'm not upset about it.
Right.
But it does. I'm always like, oh, you see her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. I didn't realize you saw her.
Yeah, I do.
There.
I do.
People seem to.
Yeah.
All right. The Golden Child.
Yes.
We are both of the Golden Children. So if you are a Golden Child, I bet you have other friends that are Golden Children because it's kind of necessary. But I bet you also married a Golden Child, but they're Golden Child in a very different way than you are.
Yes.
Mm.
Correct. Yes. I can confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't go into further detail because I don't want to like out anything about anybody. But it's when you see it, it becomes kind of uncanny.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually.
Yeah. It's sort of like when you see eldest daughters marrying youngest sons so often, which is what I did. You kind of go, only children marrying middle children. Like it's a whole thing. We all do it.
Did you say only children marrying middle children? I did that.
I know. It's a thing.
Is it?
Thing. Yes.
Huh.
Eldest daughters and youngest sons.
Wow.
And only children and middle children.
Huh.
Yeah, Google it.
I will be, actually.
And one thing that I'd like to add to Golden Child is that the next one is Black Sheep. And there are a lot of Golden Children that are also Black Sheep. And so,
hallelujah.
Yeah. Hello. But put that on our tombstones too that are very, very long. So I just think that's the juxtaposition that a lot of people don't think is there.
What do you think the difference is between the people pleaser and the Golden Child?
I think they're
like best
connected.
friends.
Yeah. I think the people pleaser is born out of the Golden Child.
Right. Like you can't lose you can't lose the shine of the Golden Child.
Yeah, but the Golden Child, like the kind, like the good girl, your version of Golden Child is unique. Meaning, I'll cut this if it's too personal. But like the way that your husband is a Golden Child and the way that you are a Golden Child are two
so different.
Vastly different. One is a shuck and jive performative, make everyone smile and laugh.
Yes.
And the other is a responsible
show up
when you need to. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. So it really depends on the story, but it's just basically like performing in the spotlight in the way you feel you're needed.
Right. Got it. I agree.
Okay.
You don't have to cut that. That's true.
Okay. I know it's true.
I'll say that to his face.
I didn't want to just like
No, that's true.
Okay. So the Black Sheep is the person who goes the opposite direction, who basically the Black Sheep is, if we're talking real talk here, as we do on this podcast, the Black Sheep is the one who did all the growth work.
Yeah. Like I think the Black Sheep actually is like sort of like an enlightened or like a step up version of the Golden Child, but it's like in a direction that people don't want you to go, or it's like too good, or it's too truthful, or it's like just a step too far.
It's like
that goes beyond golden.
It does. And it's the reason there are so many Golden Children who are Black Sheep is because the Golden Child is typically someone who, in order to serve their unit, has to do a lot of learning. So they're the one that you send out in the field to learn this. They're the one that you send out to do this thing. They go and get the fancy job to make the family proud. They go to the good school to make the family, right? Like this keeps going. And when they're doing that, they're exposed to information about how to heal themselves along the way.
Exactly.
And the ones that choose to do that then start taking their Golden Child behavior, which is like just to serve the family, and they start doing it for themselves.
Right.
And if those two things diverge,
There's a problem.
now you've got a golden child, black sheep.
Right.
There are plenty of golden children who just stay golden children.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
I'm thinking
of some.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about who they are
Yeah.
after. But they don't ever find the way to do for themselves.
Heal, right? Evolve, right?
The black sheep and golden child is tough because not only are you like pissing everyone off, but they're also like riding like your coattails of what you're doing at the same time. So it's this real odd combo.
Yeah, it's like you start like it's like when the golden child starts to disappoint people.
Yeah.
You know, that's a tough one.
But you stay the golden child.
Right. You're still doing like the right thing. You're still doing, you know, what should be best for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just that no one wants to talk about that.
No.
Right.
So it's a strange thing that I think happens more often than not. As to black sheep, golden children, we can tell you.
Right.
There's a lot of us out there, and you can understand why that would happen.
Absolutely.
It's also not easy.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I don't even want to talk about this one. Overachiever.
That's you.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of my golden child, I think. You know, and they overlap, of course, because it's how you define these things. But overachiever is, I just have such a complicated relationship to it, where the majority of me is very proud of being an ambitious, hardworking person who'll just go for it. I like that about myself. But there's this other, if we're saying percentages, it's like a 70-30 split. This other 30% of me is like embarrassed by her and like trying to protect her because other people don't necessarily like that about me.
Got it.
If you enter into a space and you're working super hard because whatever the goal is, you're looking to surpass it, you're going to annoy the people around you who are trying to coast or not trying to do that and haven't done their own work. You know, the people who are cool with coasting in a space but are doing their own work and have their own place where they're working, you know, and growing, they don't care. They like you.
No, yeah.
It's the ones who haven't done their own work that are like, ooh.
Or the ones who want to achieve and can't yet. Like they haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So my relationship with that part of myself is murky at best. Yeah. How would you connect to your overachiever?
My overachiever only actually comes out, I think, when pulled in by the people pleaser.
Interesting.
Like, I think that's the way I show up and contribute, is to have like the people pleaser pull in the overachiever. Like, if I think about the times I'm overachieving, it's for like a cause. It's for something else. I'm naturally not an overachiever, like given my neurotype.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like a hard charger actually, unless it's for something else, for a cause.
Yeah.
I'm not like hard charging into like my daily chores, or, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, right.
You know,
I do. I think it's interesting because I can see how your good girl is sort of, if she went in as an overachiever, she couldn't remain
good
in that in that sort of like slightly outskirted role that she likes to observe people in before she like fully commits to anything.
Yeah.
So I can see how they would be in conflict, but I would say, I don't think you'd call it an overachiever. So maybe it has a different name, but if there is somebody who needs something, you do charge at that.
I do. That's where that would come in.
So
like
it
overachiever.
Isn't just drawn in by you trying to please people, like, because you're not doing that in that space. You're like, oh, someone needs something, we ride at dawn at 100 miles an hour. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she exists, but I don't think you like other people labeling you that, because it becomes sort of like a commitment for you to live up to as someone with ADHD who's like has to do it in her own way. Right. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little conflicted.
Yeah. When someone calls me an overachiever, I'm always like, I don't think you mean it as a compliment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because people.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I would say it. You definitely are
working, or they say ambitious. But if they don't really like it, they'll.
I guess the over is the implied insult, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yes, I am. I am an overachiever. In fact, I am achieving quietly in a lot of places that you don't know about because there's so much work in letting people know. So I'll let you know eventually.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you do that too. You hide it.
I do.
The victim. Listen, everybody is the victim and plays the victim. It's the people who really feel like that's their only way to connect to other people that
Right.
it's problematic.
Correct. There's nothing wrong with being the victim. We are victims of
Correct.
things all the time.
Right. Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It just can't be who you are. It cannot
it's problematic to not allow yourself the recognition of being victimized or a victim of something.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. And the bully is the next one.
Yeah.
I don't see either of us as the bully. I can't quite connect to that one.
Yeah.
I think maybe I could bully myself.
I mean, well, I do that. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sarcastic and bust people's chops a lot, but like, I don't think I'm bullying people.
You would never bully. You wouldn't be sarcastic to someone that you didn't know
and trust.
Handle it.
Right.
Like,
yeah. I don't really. Yeah, but there certainly are bullies out there that, and you can, and like to the point where you can tell that they're bullied just to protect themselves, just because it's the only way they feel safe.
Yeah.
It's very clearly a role they've chosen. A terrible one.
Like racist MAGA.
There you go. Like MAGA. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
I play that role pretty well.
You are great at that.
Yeah. I think this is one of those ones with a fuzzy line where the people pleasing element comes in.
Right.
But there's also a ability to understand human behavior and understand the best way for me to show up for you is this, that is good.
Right.
And helpful. But there's a line that you cross where, again, you self-abandon if you keep going too far.
Exactly.
You've got to reel that in or have good boundaries around that.
Right. Agreed. Yeah.
Do you feel like you chameleon?
I mean, I think I'm really good at editing for like whatever situation I'm in, but I don't think I don't think I'm someone who is sort of like loose with the way I feel or the way I present to people. I think I'm pretty steady and
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Like,
I think
I'll be polite about it, probably to be people pleasing, but I'm not.
Girl.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like I'm not. Yeah.
I think that people who grow up identifying as one of these, which is the misfit, to keep themselves safe. Like if you feel like there's no way you can fit in anywhere, which is how I feel, you become good at not necessarily chameleoning in a way that I'm not being myself, but chameleoning in a way of like, I'm going to push these parts of myself to the front.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the more you grow up thinking you are other or weird, I think the better you are at chameleoning.
Agreed.
Which I have just created that word.
That's a good point though. Like just pushing parts forward. It's not faking it or acting or like being something you're not. You're just only allowing certain parts of yourself to be seen. That's that I identify with a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there are chameleon-y people that you don't know who they are at all because they're just different with different people.
Right, or like wishy-washy or...
Yes, but I don't think I'm that, but I do think if you observe me in different environments, you'll see different versions of like, oh, she's a lot more of this with these people and she's a lot more of that with these people.
Right.
So
that's true.
And I'm good at it, so it makes it extra hard to keep the lines strong.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. It's also, to me, a chameleon is kind of invisible. And so if I want to blend without standing out as much, that's what
you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Needless. Hello. We both try to play that role all the time. I don't need anything. I'm good. I don't need anything from anybody.
Yeah.
Look at me.
It's kind of like a martyr.
Ugh,
such
a drag.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Controller.
No. Never met her. Never heard of her.
We're both that, but I think I might be the one who's a little bit more destructive in those tendencies.
You might be.
The comedian. I think that's more you than me. Yeah.
I'm really good at that.
I mean, I think that I can be funny, but I don't think you'll get to that part of me until I'm like, we're comfortable. I'm comfortable with you. And I think if you're not comfortable with someone, they'll see a lot more of her.
Right. Or I just use it as a way to like manage people. Like I use comedy as a way to manage people.
You do.
in the environments.
Yeah, it's like I'm thinking of an example when you shushed somebody, but you like made it funny.
I did.
Yeah, you're like, come on.
I did do that. I did.
So it's sort of like
did.
you're doing something, you're getting your point.
It's like a
across, but you're
delivery
softening
method.
it.
Yeah,
exactly.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and that also, I mean, I guess it all stems like from like your main, like when you're talking about like your main Claire or whatever, it's like
Yeah.
your main sort of like people pleaser, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
I use the comedy as a weapon of the good girl.
Yeah.
Right. It's like to soften like the parts of me that like I don't feel like I can be firm or I can be demanding of something. I'll
Yeah.
use comedy as a way to
Well,
lighten that blow a little
can
bit.
I slightly argue with one part?
Sure.
And you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
I think that you do. I don't actually think that you mind being direct or like. I don't actually think that. I think it's your empathy for the other person.
Agreed. Yes, I
actually
know.
Takes that like authority and that leadership and that like I need you to do this.
Remember this part because I have to talk about this in therapy next time. That was part of my homework that you just unlocked it for me.
Got
So
it.
remember that.
Got it. So that is why you do that, is because you know that what's called for in the situation for everyone around is for you to be yourself in that way of like,
Right.
I'm going to call her leader.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you don't want the other person to feel upset because you care about everybody.
Correct.
So in doing that thing that's the right thing,
Mhm.
you soften it with a little bit of comedy. So you
Yes.
don't feel like you're in trouble. I'm not mad at you. Like as the queen of you're in trouble all the time. Like how many times am I saying to you, you're a grown ass adult,
I
you can't
know.
be in trouble.
I know.
Like that's the story your ego has. The good girl, that's her story.
It really
right?
is.
So like as her, like if you soften it,
Right.
because you fear being in trouble, so they'll know they're not in trouble because you
Right.
added a little comedy.
Because my natural tone is very just like to the point.
Yes,
like,
direct.
It's
Yes.
very direct and
Yeah.
it's not mean, but it's
No.
perceived as mean, or I should say, I don't intend for it to be mean,
Right.
but is often sometimes perceived as
Yeah.
when I allow it to come out, it's perceived as mean sometimes.
Right.
So I do feel like I have to buffer it and soften it
Yes.
a lot.
Yes. Yeah. I think that I see myself as bossy. Like people are going to think I'm bossy. That's
Right.
a terrible word that
I know.
leadership little girls who are like leaders are told.
Right. Boys get to be bosses. That's not bad for boys.
Correct. It's like, oh, let's celebrate that, and
Right.
it's a bossy girl. And
It's like a
we gotta
derogatory-
squelch this. Yeah.
right.
Luckily, my parents had no interest in squelching it, so I was lucky in that sense.
Right.
But I think that I'm bossy, so I'll soften it. I won't necessarily use comedy, but I'll soften it by figuring out quickly what your universal fears and desires are and framing what I'm saying with that information so that I know it speaks to you.
Right.
And then,
Smart.
but it is like maybe book smart.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always work. Do you know what I mean? People in that like quick moment don't sometimes they want the direct.
Sometimes.
I mean, just tell me what you want. You want me to shush? I'll shush. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't
Right.
always want all that. It's like a little bit of a shuck and jive to
Yeah.
it. So I just think it's interesting because the story is so important.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, there's only a couple more here.
Okay.
Misfit, we've sort of labeled.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't feel like you fit anywhere,
I would say most of our listeners probably are misfits.
exactly. If you're like, okay, I can go in this space. I think I belong there,
Yeah.
but I don't think I
Fit in.
there.
It's a fit issue.
I'm going to be
Right.
the weirdo. I'm going
Right.
to be the outlier. You're going to
Yep.
have a bunch of boxes for people to step into, and I'm not going to fit in any of them.
Yeah, you're gonna be a circle in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's that feeling, and I think that also dictates your other roles, like how you play them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then lastly, conformist.
Mm.
This word is hard for me.
Yeah,
I think it has a connotation that I don't like.
agreed.
I'm
good at conforming though.
Yeah, but I also feel like the people who say things like, well, I can conform, are non-conformists.
Agreed.
Because if you just are someone who conforms, you don't have to try to conform.
Exactly. You don't have to make the effort.
Yes.
Right.
So if you and I are conforming, we are putting effort into that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a role clearly that we
Yeah.
choose, but it's like, it's just real interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
There's nothing wrong with conformity.
No, I mean, you need conformity sometimes. Like,
Correct.
again, like for communities and for people to coexist,
Yes.
there has to be like not every man for
Yes.
themselves. You know,
Yes.
like,
Yeah. I feel a little bit like conformity and community are different.
mhm.
And I think maybe conformity feels patriarchal to me.
I
and
agree.
community feels matriarchal. So that might be why I'm having trouble with it. But I think even looking at that is important when you're like, if someone says, like, how are you a conformist? My brain feels like a little squidgy about that. But it's like,
Yeah.
how do you like conform yourself to be a part of something? That feels a little bit
Different.
better. So it's
Yeah,
just,
there's
kind of the
a
terms.
an edge of like force to the idea of conformity to me,
Yeah, it's like
which I
you-
don't
you
like. So
have
I
to.
like push against that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're a critical thinker, conformity sounds like a prison
Right.
because you've kind of always
Right.
had like you've sort of taken that critical thinking part and had to like hide her a little bit, you
Mhm.
know. So it's like the
Yeah, but if you-
conformist feels like the opposite.
Right, but if you said like, oh, like we need everyone to follow these rules so that as a community we can like grow and thrive, I'd be like, oh, sure, I'm on board with that because that's community. That's the matriarchal version.
100%.
But it's
And
like
you
you have
told
to
me
do this
why.
just because. No, thank you. I'm not conforming to that.
Like if you go to a concert and they're like, please make sure your phones are silenced. The people who don't silence their phone drive me crazy.
Oh, it's rude.
And like
It's
as a
rude.
non-conforming person, I'm very happy to do that because I want to respect the people.
And
I
it
wanna
benefits
respect
the whole experience.
Yeah, so there's like a
a
different
dick.
element of that for me. If it's
Right.
just to conform so like the big boss person feels special, I'm not.
No,
That's
that's
not
different. Right.
Yeah. So one more thing I want to say, and then we'll take a break and we'll come back next week with more on this topic because I
Yep.
think it's important to look through these roles and to explore them. Is that the roles you play are all, listen, I don't always say there's no exception, but here there is. These are all created by your ego,
Mm,
all of them.
correct.
Okay, the things you do intuitively are not roles; they're just happening.
Right.
The things you're doing, like from your ego, you're doing because you think it will keep you safe.
Safe.
That's your ego's whole entire job. So it is incredibly important to understand
Hmm.
that when you go and you're like, oh, I'm putting on this hat or I'm playing this role, this is all ego based. And
Right.
this is one of the many reasons that you and I are always yelling at people who vilify the ego or
Right.
vilify fear in whatever way. And it's like, no. It's so helpful.
Right.
You need to sometimes be the good girl. You need to sometimes be the black sheep. Like you
Yep.
need to do that. You need to navigate that and know that if you're going to have any success in this world, I don't just mean like capitalistic success. I just mean
No,
like
right.
be
Yes.
able to stay alive.
Right, exactly.
So it's important.
It sure is.
And your ego made all of them
Yes, for a reason.
because it was afraid.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that like those things are still true and that you still have to like abide by those rules, but you have to understand them, like why you created them, why those vows were created, and if you need them now.
Exactly. Okay, so we're gonna come back next week because we've already talked forever about this.
Mm.
But I do think the roles, the examples of them are important, so you really understand what this is.
Right.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about the role of like universal fears and desire in this.
Hmm.
We're gonna look at like really exploring those stories behind it
Hmm.
and some tricks that you can do when you're trying to unpack these roles.
Okay.
So, all right. Let's
Cool.
go. We'll do that.
Join us next week when we continue chatting about this topic.
Hey everyone, Heather and I have an ask for you. If you love this episode or if you love the IGG, can you do us a favor? We need you to go onto whatever platform you listen on and download, subscribe, like, love, whatever it's asking you to do. Can you go do those things for us on the platforms that you listen on? It would mean so much to us.
Thanks for listening to our episode. For a way to get in touch with us, please visit our website, intuitivegirlsguide.com. We love hearing your feedback on our episodes.